Thanks for joining us on the news this hour. I am Nifemi Oguntoye. President Muhammadu Buhari has handed down a 3-month directive to the newly appointed service chiefs to end Boko Haram in the northeast. Buhari says the chiefs will be held accountable on equipment and troops on the front line, hence the need to improve on their welfare. He promised that his administration will provide all the resources and support they need to achieve the desired directive. Paz Hamel has more in this report.
It is barely a month after their appointment as service chiefs by President Muhammadu Buhari. But the president is worried over the growing level of Boko Haram attacks in the northeast. He says he has visited some countries within Africa to solicit for support to stop insurgency in Nigeria. And to ensure an immediate end to Boko Haram activities, President Buhari handed down a 3-month deadline to the service chiefs.
While commending the efforts of the armed forces of Nigeria so far, you need to brace up and continuously team up with other stakeholders to come up with a well-coordinated joint effort which will bring a desired end to these insurgencies in 3 months. In the course of carrying out this assignment, you must be accountable for all men and equipment placed under your command. Your troops' welfare should be uppermost in your mind. Take care of them and make available what is due to them.
President Buhari charged the chiefs to respect the rights of terrorists when captured. This, he says, will help reduce human rights abuse. But he also wants the chiefs to take troops' welfare seriously if the fight against insurgency is to be won.
They abide with the existing newly enforced rules and regulations of international standards while carrying out their assigned tasks. In particular, you must protect innocent civilians in theaters of conflict and respect the rights of combatants once they are captured. This, no doubt, will earn the support of local communities and the respect of our allies and support of international community. Once more, I congratulate you. Get back to work and make Nigerians proud.
For his part, the Chief of Defense Staff, Gabriel Olanishakin, says the presidential directive to end insurgency in 3 months is a task that must be achieved. But first, he wants Nigerians to support the military in its quest to end insurgency.
The message for Nigerians is that we are on board and that we will strategize to ensure that the issue of Boko Haram is put to the past and all the menace is dealt with appropriately.
Would these 3 months be okay for you to crush the enemies?
The president has given a presidential directive, and that's how it should start.
At the end, the service chiefs were decorated with their new ranks. The Chief of Defense Staff, Gabriel Olanishakin, has been decorated with the rank of a general. Chief of Air Staff, Sadiq Abubakar, is now Air Marshal. Chief of Army Staff, Tukur Buratai, has been decorated with the rank of a Lieutenant General. And Chief of Naval Staff, Ibok Ete Ekwe Ibas, has become Vice Admiral. Pius Samuel, CoreTV News, Abuja.
President Muhammadu Buhari has terminated the appointment of the managing director of the Nigerian Ports Authority, Alhaji Sanusi Ado Bayero. The termination of Alhaji Bayero's appointment is with immediate effect. A statement by the presidential spokesman, Femi Adesina, directed Bayero to hand over the management of the NPA and all government property in the possession to Habibu Abdullahi, who has been reinstated as managing director of the NPA by President Buhari. The president also wished Bayero well in his future endeavors. The sacked managing director was appointed by former President Goodluck Jonathan shortly before he vacated office as president. Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari on Thursday in Abuja urged the National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure, NASENI, to do more to publicize its inventions for the benefit of Nigerians. Speaking after a presentation to him of Nassani's recent work, President Buhari observed that unless the agency's interventions or inventions are adopted and further developed by manufacturers, the country and ordinary Nigerians will not enjoy the fruits of its good work. The president, who was impressed by the achievements and inventions presented to him at the presidential villa, also directed Nassani to explore ways of working with the Defense Industries Corporation, Kaduna, to manufacture the light weapons it has designed. President Buhari told the executive vice chairman of Nassani, Professor M.S. Haruna, that the weapons designs by the laboratory equipment are things that can save the country resources by coordinating with existing specialist agencies. The House of Representatives also gave approval for the Edo State government to obtain a $75 million credit facility from the World Bank. The approval came by unanimous vote after the presentation of a report by the ADA committee chaired by Babangida Ibrahim. The House presided over by the Deputy Speaker Yusuf Lawan was subsequently adjourned till September 29.
Current borrowing ceiling is 40% of the statutory allocation of a particular state. Edo State at present has 29%, which means they still have an allowance. They are still operating within the acceptable borrowing limit of the states. So with these few explanations, I want my honorable colleagues to support the consideration and approval of this particular facility to Edo State government to enable the state to consolidate what the good work it has started.
Those in support of this recommendation say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
The House of Representatives has mandated the ADA Committee on Appropriation to investigate the extent of the implementation of the 2015 capital projects and the level performance of the Finance Ministry. This was after Patrick Asadu, representing Unsuka Igboeze South federal constituency, had raised concern over the alleged unwillingness of the federal government to implement capital projects midway into the third quarter of the financial year. An attempt by the House leader, Femi Gbajabiamila, to stall the motion was turned down.
The federal government to release funds for capital projects despite the 556 billion allocated for capital expenditure, while spending on the huge recurrent expenditure of almost 4 trillion naira, makes our 2015 budget implementation very wasteful and inefficient, depriving the country of highly needed basic facilities and subjecting our constituents to untold hardship both in infrastructure and economic empowerment, and has stunted the nation's growth.
That the date of enactment was May 6th, and the fiscal responsibility copiously referred to by my colleague gives this government 3 months. And if it determines that there are not insufficient funds, they can restrict and stop operation. It is there. So on that point of order, on that point of law, I believe that this motion is premature because the government is still within its timeline.
From 6th of May to 6th of August is how many months? It's 3 months. Leader, it's 3 months. And nobody is saying this or that from the tune of the motion. That is what I understand. Imputations are not being made, even though people are capable of reading meanings into it. But the truth is that as the House of the Nigerian people, we need to know what is happening with the budget, because that is the most important piece of legislation that we do.
We'll take a break now, and I'll be back with more stories. Don't go away.
This is what the people are saying.
You don't run a big economy with generator. They need to do more in terms of energy and power.
Many things to do for this Nigeria about lights, water, and new TT.
For Nigerians that are not gullible, we know that good laws have done nothing good for this country.
Buhari won the election convincingly.
They talk to our husband that you should keep promise about what you said, and because people are watching you,
another election is coming.
But some people will stand for Yoruba land. Will be strong man. We don't die.
This nation is moving forward. The best is going to take place.
The people giving voice to the voiceless.
Welcome back. You can get all of our stories on any of our social media platforms. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/CoreTV News. Our Twitter handle is at CoreTV News NG. We're streaming live on YouTube. It's youtube.com/CoreTV. Never space and news. Residents of Jikoyi on the outskirts of the Federal Capital Territory on Thursday took a peaceful protest march to the National Assembly complex. They are unhappy with the demolition exercise they say is being carried out by the Federal Capital Development Authority and its task force. Basiaye reports that the group of placard-carrying landlords and tenants was stopped at the first gate of the complex by policemen on duty.
This group of both the young and the old are residents of Jikoyi, one of the suburbs in the FCT. They are here to, according to them, unravel the mystery surrounding the demolition of their houses and structures 2 days ago. This man, who says he's the scribe of the Jikoyi Landlords Association, recounts what he thinks led to the exercise.
The issue with those houses have been in the early 2000. And even apart from that, sorry, I forgot to mention this. Some of the houses that were demolished even have their landed papers. They have. I don't know what FCDA is 2. I thought FCDA is 1. They have even their landed papers. They have. And when you bring out these papers to present to those military people doing the demolition, they will tell you they are not ready to listen. They will tell you they are not here for that. They are here to carry out the demolition, and that is what they are here for.
They are counting their losses over the exercise they say came as a surprise.
Pass. When we come, nothing inside the Jikoyi, we just continue to see so many different people. Say this one will come, say, see my paper, we have bought this place. And they will bought more than an acre, only one person. Are we in Nigeria?
When they came to Jikoyi yesterday, they surprised us by beating people up, demolishing their houses. Some of them don't have work. It is in that particular house they are staying. They don't have money to pay rent. Government should please look into this matter and help us.
This man also has a question for the executive and the legislature.
We need change. That is what our president told us. Say there will be a change. If it is demolition, will be our change. Let him tell us.
While these individuals believe that government policies and plans should be adhered to, they are also of the view that efforts should be made to cushion the effects of these policies. Basiaye, CoreTV News, Abuja.
Well, as part of the burial rites of Oni of Ife, Oba Okwade Shijuade Oluboshe II, the markets in Ile-Ife had been ordered closed for the next 7 days. This, however, caused commotion in the ancient town as people, though expecting such order, were caught unawares, while traders rushed to close their stores for the fear of the unknown. Rashid has details in this report.
With the passage of oral rites and announcement of Oni's death, it is expected that the town observes a period of mourning for the late monarch. But on the contrary, the disposition of the indigents betrayed the norm until the intervention of traditional town criers who broke the news of an immediate closure of markets for the next 7 days. As traders make efforts to salvage their displayed wares and scamper for safety, they say the 7-day market closure was unsatisfactory and capable of impacting them negatively.
We are tired for it because some people will not come market to buy everything. So we are staying on the outside.
So this little one you have
I even got to sell this one before I pack and go back to it.
Meanwhile, condolence messages have been pouring from far and near, ranging from former Governor Olagunso Oyinlola and leader of the Oodua People's Congress, Ganiyu Adams.
It's a great loss to the Yoruba people because these two Onibushi heads was the stew of entire Yorubas. What happened to Ile-Ife it's a sad news to the entire Yorubas, Nigerians, and the Yoruba people in diasporas.
While the burial is slated for Friday, other rites are being initiated, signifying the beginning of the final journey of the 50th Oni of Ife to the great beyond. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ile-Ife.
All right, let's get back to the National Assembly. The senators called on President Muhammadu Buhari to direct the Transmission Company of Nigeria to reconnect Maiduguri to the national grid. This was on the basis of a motion by Senate leader Aliyu Ndume. It also urged the military to clear Maiduguri of insurgents, as well as provide security for electricity workers to reconnect the area to the national grid.
Notes with serious concern the disconnection of Maiduguri from the national grid and the general power degeneration across the country. Notes with sadness the hardship and sufferings of the people occasioned by lack of electricity supply, which includes but is not limited to 1. Loss of lives in hospitals and clinics without alternative sources of power. 2. Loss of means of livelihood by workers whose business are solely dependent on constant electricity supply. 3. High cost of production by industries relying on alternative source of power. And 4. The threat to national security due to inability to operate installed surveillance equipment.
When I was a governor in 2011, we had to make a very heavy sacrifice, even for those of us from the oil-producing states. We came together and we made a contribution of about $5.2 billion to the federal government in order to revamp the power sector. The states had to forego their own share of $5.2 billion so that that amount could be injected into the power sector. That was in 2011. And we expected a lot of returns. To hear that in 1999 we had 4,600 megawatts, and then in the year 2015 we are talking about we are celebrating 4,000. For me, it's a very, very sad development.
As we all know that lack of power continues to be a major setback in our quest to grow the Nigerian economy. And apart from corruption, no other factor has held the country back like the issue of power generation, transmission, and distribution. Nigerians want us to resolve this problem. And from the contributions of everybody, the 8th Senate is committed to play its role to us resolving this issue.
The National Publicity Secretary to the All Progressives Congress, Lai Mohammed, has assured Nigerians that President Muhammadu Buhari is determined to change the fortune of the nation for good. Mohammed reiterated these at a function in Lagos. He says Buhari is poised to deliver on campaign promises of taming corruption, insurgency, and revitalizing the economy. The APC spokesman also noted that the preparedness of the current administration to ensure a solid foundation for smooth running of government is delaying the appointment of ministers by President Buhari.
Is also planning to fail. And this is why this government is meticulous. It is planning because it wants to succeed. But I can assure you that even within these 2.5 months, this government has achieved a lot in the area of security, in the area of the economy, even in the fight against corruption.
The National Universities Commission wants the management of the Plateau State University to put the necessary structures in place to help fast-track the accreditation of the school programs. This is against the backdrop of the inability of 2 sets of final-year students to graduate since 2005. Governor Simon Lalong visited the NUC, where the Executive Secretary, Professor Julius Okogie, offered the way out of the crisis rocking the school that was established 10 years ago. The Special Task Team on City Management in the FCT has impounded 56 bags of assorted hard drugs in the city center. FCT Permanent Secretary John Chukwu disclosed this on Thursday after a meeting with members of the task team. He revealed that a task team found the hard drug in a depot during a covert operation at the Turubura behind Apple roundabout. The permanent secretary noted that the assorted hard drugs, which were hidden in a bunker, were uncovered as a result of the vigilance of members of the task force. A management team of Core Media Services Limited, owner of CoreTV, has paid a courtesy visit to Ogun State chapter of the Nigerian Union of Journalists (NUJ). The Thursday visit, which was part of a two-day familiarization tour to notable organizations in Ogun State, was led by the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer Jide Adediran. Adediran, in his remark, noted that Ogun State is home for CoreTV, as its headquarters is located in Isheri North area of the state. He also asked for the support and cooperation of NUJ, the state, while reiterating the commitment of CoreTV and indeed Core Media Services to quality media practices, noted that churning out prompt, robust news that expand audience view using state-of-the-art technology remains the vision of the station. For his part, Secretary of Ogun State NUJ, Soji Amosun, said he has always admired the quality of news reports projected by CoreTV, while saluting the management team for deeming it appropriate to visit the body. He further noted that a chapel of the NUJ will be open at the Core Media Isheri North headquarters as soon as possible. Outside Nigeria, former U.S. President Jimmy Carter says recent liver surgery revealed that he has cancer and he has spread to other parts of his body. The 90-year-old statesman underwent surgery to remove a small mass in his liver earlier this month, with a promise to reveal more as events unfold. Carter will undergo treatment by physicians at Emory Healthcare in Atlanta and has received quick recovery statements from President Barack Obama, Bernice King, and daughter of Martin Luther King Jr. The former president, elected in 1976 and since he left the White House in 1981, had remained active carrying out humanitarian efforts with the Skater Center in recent years, which focuses on human rights efforts and political mediation. In Iraq, at least 59 people have been killed after a truck bomb exploded in northeastern Baghdad as the blast tore through the crowded Jamila market in the predominantly Shia district of Sadr City. The Sunni jihadist group said it was behind the bombing and that it targeted Shia militiamen. Meanwhile, medics say more than 20 civilians died when bombs dropped by the Iraqi Air Force hit a maternity and children's hospital in Fallujah. The violence comes after a top American general said the U.S. should consider embedding American troops with Iraqi forces if progress was not made in the fight against ICE. And Raymond Odeno, the Army's outgoing chief of staff, told reporters that such forces would have a support rather than a combat role. That wraps it on the news this hour. Join us again at the top of the hour for more. I am Nifemi Ogunsoye.